Good morning, students. We start about the effect of eccentricity of the loading in the chapter of shallow foundation, right? Completed our first chapter, which is selection of foundation and subsoil exploration, right? This is the page number 97 in Atul book. Talking about the effect of eccentricity of the loading, right? So here in figure strip footing, right? For 2.6a figure is a eccentric load on the strip footing. When the eccentric load applied on this strip footing. So in that case, for the strip footing, if the load has an eccentricity Ex in the direction of width of the footing. So the modified width V dash is used in the place of B in the bearing capacity equation and in the determination of shape and depth factors as well. So the modified width B dash, which means original width B minus 2 times of its eccentricity in the X direction, right? So in a this case is a strip footing, right? Now we talk about the rectangular footing, right? As you can see in this figure below, which means figure 2.7, which describes eccentric load on the rectangular footing. So there can be eccentricity of loading in the direction of both width and length, which means at Ex means eccentricity in X direction and eccentricity in Y direction, right? In this type of cases, effective dimensions of the footing to be used in determining the bearing capacity as well as in computing the effective area of the footing in the resistance load shall be determined as below. So here all are changes, which means length will be changed and width will be changed because eccentricity load applies as eccentric in both direction, in X direction and Y direction. So both length and width are changes, and because of the length and width are changes, area is also changes with respect to length and width, right? So new length, which we denoted as L dash, is equal to L minus 2EY because a length considered in a y direction, right? So eccentricity in y direction, right? B dash is equal to B minus 2EX. So that the area is equal to length multiplied by width, which means A dash is equal to L dash multiplied by B dash, right? Now we're talking about the eccentrically loaded foundation, right? So if the total load is Q on the footing at eccentricity, the line of action of Q is not passing through the centroid of the base of the area of footing, so that the footing is subjected to a moment in addition to the load Q. So in that case, the pressure distribution below footing is not uniform, so that the maximum and minimum pressure is, so maximum pressure is equal to Q by A plus M by I in bracket B by 2, where Q minimum, minimum pressure is equal to Q by A minus M by I in bracket B by 2, right? Here Q is the load, A is the area, M is the moment, right? Okay. Uh, Here area equation is width multiplied by length, as you can show in this figure. This footing is given, right? So in that footing, area is equal to B cross L. Here moment of inertia, which means I, is equal to uh, generally its equation is BD cubed by 12, right? Here depth is considered as a length, right? So here LB cubed divided by 12, where B is equal to width of footing, L is equal to length of footing, and Q is equal to total vertical load. And you can see in this figure, right? This width, right? Here Q load is given total vertical load here, right? Here moment is equal to Q multiplied by Q means vertical load multiplied by eccentricity, right? Here Q minimum and Q maximum given, where the eccentricity lies, then that part settles more. So the eccentricity of that part is maximum and the other part settlement is less. It means it's a Q minimum, right? So if E is the eccentricity, the equation of eccentricity E is equal to M divided by Q, right? Here Q maximum equation is equal to Q by A 1 plus 6E by B, where Q minimum equation is Q by A in bracket 1 minus E 6E divided by B, where here Q maximum should be less than safe gross bearing capacity, and if the Q minimum is negative, so the tensile stress will develop at the base, right? And if the Q minimum is negative, then the tensile stress will be developed at the base, right? So as soil cannot take tension, there is a separation between the footing and the soil. So in such cases, the area of the footing which is tension is neglected. So the equation of maximum pressure Q maximum is equal to 4Q divided by 3L in bracket B minus 2E, right? Here, one method is given, which is Meyerhof method, right? So the factor of safety of eccentrically loaded footing against the bearing capacity failure can be determined using this method. Is given by Meyerhof, right? So first one is determine eccentricity of the load along the width and the length. So eccentricity along the width is equation is equal to mb by q, and eccentricity along with the length equation is equal to ml by q, right? Second is determining the effective width and length. So effective width b dash is equal to b minus 2eb, and l dash is equal to l is equal to 2el. Third equation is determine the effective area or size. So in that case, area dash is equal to b dash multiplied by l dash, which means the effective width multiplied by effective length. Next equation is ultimate bearing capacity uses uh, this using Brinch Hussain formula, right? So this formula I think we learned about uh, previous lectures, right? Next equation is total ultimate load QU is equal to small qu multiplied by L dash multiplied by B dash. And the last equation is factor of safety. So factor of safety is equal to QU divided by Q, right? Next is bearing capacity from the standard penetration test SPT, right? So first method is for the phi soil, only cohesion C is taken as equal to 0, right? So this SPT value shall be determined as per IS 1981 at a number of selected points at intervals of 75 centimeter in the vertical direction, or the change of strata if it take place earlier and the average value beneath each point is determined, right? This determined between the level of base of the footing and the depth. So it's equal to 1.5 to 2 times the width of the foundation. So the computing the average any individual value more than 50% greater than the average value shall be neglected, but the values for the all the loose seams shall however be included. So the knowing the value of n, the value of phi is read from the figure 2.a, right? So that the ultimate bearing capacity equation q and u is equal to q in bracket nq minus 1 multiplied by sq dq iq plus 1 half gamma multiplied by width multiplied by n gamma s gamma d gamma I gamma and W dash. So this equation we consider as a equation 2.22. So where the shape factors, depth factors, inclination factors are determined as described earlier, right? Shape factors is a S gamma, depth factor is a D gamma, inclination factor is I gamma, right? So the bearing capacity factor NQ and N gamma may be read from previous table, which is 2.3, right? So going forward to the method 2, so the ultimate bearing capacity mainly depends on the phi and hence on the N, which is SPT value, right? So it can be related directly to the N. Teng in 1962 has developed the following empirical equation for the net ultimate bearing capacity of the footing on the cohesive less soil, right? So here relation between phi and N here given, right? So this horizontal line, which means x-axis, represent the angle of internal friction, which is known as phi, which measured in the degrees, and the vertical means y-axis represent a standard penetration resistance, which may denoted as n and counted as measures in a unit of blows per 30 centimeter, right? And here types of soil is given, right? Very loose soil, medium soil, dense soil, and the very dense soil, right? So this graph indicates the relation between phi and n. So for the strip footing tank, given equation for the strip fitting QNU is equal to 1 by 6 in whole bracket 3n square plus b 3n square b rw2 plus 5 in bracket 100 plus n square multiplied by d multiplied by rw1. So for the square and circular footing, QNU is equal to 1/3 in bracket n square b rw2, right? Plus 300 plus n square d multiplied by rw2. So here the derivation of this particular notation is QNU is equal to net ultimate bearing capacity, as you can know already, right? So measured in kilogram per meter square, n is equal to SPT number, d is equal to depth of footing, right? And RW1 and RW2 is equal to water table correction factor, which we described in article 2.8. Now talking about allowable bearing pressure for cohesive soils, right? So the allowable bearing pressure known as Q and A for a shallow foundation is limited either by net safe bearing capacity QNS or safe settlement pressure Q and omega, right? So the design of shallow foundation on cohesionless soil is generally governed by the safe settlement pressure, as the net safe bearing capacity for a footing of usual size is quite high. So in the case of narrow footing on a waterlogged stand, right? So the net safe bearing capacity may be controlling the criteria of the design. So in the normal practice for the design of footing of usual size of using empirical methods based on the N values for the determination of allowing soil pressure for cohesionless soils. So the plate load tests are also used in such cases, having the small boulders and stones which obstruct the SPT test. So the method using SPT are preferred to plate load test for homogeneous soils, or as these are more economical. So basically footings on granular soils are generally designed using the following empirical relationship based on the SPT number for the allowable soil pressure, right? So first one is a Peck's equation. So Teisaki and Peck in 1967 gives charts for the safe bearing pressure to the limit of a total settlement of 25 mm and differential settlement of 19 mm for different size of the footing on cohesionless soil. So Peck in 1974 revised the Teisaki and Peck charts and gave the following equation for the safe settlement pressure, right? So the equation of Q and P is equal to 0.41 CW and S, where the N rho is equal to safe settlement pressure measured in kilogram per meter square, N is equal to SPT number, S is equal to settlement in measured in mm, CW is equal to water table correction factor. So for the settlement of 40 mm, equation is 16.4 CW into N. For settlement of 25 mm, equation is 10.25 CW into N. And for the water table correction factor, determining using this relation, the equation of CW is equal to in bracket zero point 0.5 plus zero point 0.5 dW divided by D plus B, where dW is equal to depth of water table from the ground surface, D is equal to depth of foundation, and B is equal to width of foundation. Now next is the Tanks equation, right? So in 1962, Tanks gave the equation for the net allowing pressure, which is known as Q and omega for allowable settlement of 25 mm. So for this 25 mm settlement, the equation is Q and rho is equal to 35 in bracket n minus 3 in bracket b plus 0.3 divided by 2b whole raised to square multiplied by rw2 into rd and measured in kilometer per meter square. So q and rho is equal to net allowing bearing pressure measured in kilometer per meter square. N is equal to SPT number, d is equal to width of footing, rw2 is equal to water table correction factor, and rd is equal to depth correction factor. The equation of Rw2 is equal to 0.5 in bracket 1 plus Zw2 divided by B. Rd equation is equal to 1 plus 0.2 D divided by B less than or equal to 1.20. So the above equation can be written in general form as Q n rho is equal to 1.40 in bracket n minus 3 in bracket B plus 0.3 divided by 2B whole square into Rw2 into Rd into S, where S is equal to tolerate settlement in mm, right? Uh, the third equation is Meyerhoff's equation, right? So Meyerhoff has proposed this equation in 1956. Uh, they yield almost the same results, right? So for width which is less than 1.2, the equation is 12.2 n Rw2 Rd, and for width greater than 1.2 meter, the equation is 8.1 n in bracket b plus 0.3 divided by b whole raised to square Rw2 into Rd, right? And for the last one, where this Rd is equal to 1 plus 0.33 d divided by b, which is less than or equal to 1.33. This is the check, right? And our last equation is Boyle's equation, right? So Boyle adjusted this Meyerhoff equation in 1988 for an approximate increase in allowable bearing pressure to obtain Q n rho is equal to 20 n Rw2 Rd for the width which is less than 1.2 meter. For width greater than 1.2 meter, the equation is 12.2 n in bracket b plus 0.3 divided by b whole square into Rw2 into Rd, where this Rd is equal to, as we described earlier, this Rd is this equation, right?